Showtime!
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way to your seats.
Showtime!
Please make your way to your seats. The show is about to begin.
Showtime!
Let the magic begin.
Bye-bye e-bike. Here comes hydrogen bikes. Is this the future?
This is cool. So, I actually, the maker of this bike interacted with me on LinkedIn, which was really cool after I posted their article. And they were saying, yeah, we're excited. We're working on it more and things like that. So, they're excited about this technology. I'm excited about this because this is more hydrogen stuff. So, this article talks about the author. He rode this hydrogen fuel cell e-bike from the startup Hydro Ride in Amsterdam. And it uses hydrogen tanks and an onboard fuel cell to generate the electricity. So the riding experience apparently felt similar to a normal e-bike with a comparable 250 watt power output and a range of up to 60 miles per hydrogen bottle. And so home hydrogen, so what they're saying is you can pair this with a home hydrogen generator, which can produce fuel from water electrolysis powered by renewable electricity. So refueling apparently is easier than charging a battery. So the main advantages are there's no reliance on problematic battery materials, easier refueling for fleets, and avoiding battery degradation because you're not with the cycles, you're not losing that power. So the fuel cells combine hydrogen and oxygen to produce the electricity electrochemically, and the only byproduct is water, just like hydrogen. So the tanks, I think, are around 500 milliliters. They are high pressure, so that is something to think about. But the one thing too is the fuel cell systems currently are more expensive than batteries per kilowatt hour. But again, this is new technology, right? So really cool stuff.
Yeah, and the article here says that they're focused more on B2B than B2C. Their main goal is to get bike and scooter sharing companies using this.
Yeah.
Because the number one problem for those companies is the batteries.
Yes. And that makes sense, right? This is just, it's like, think of those propane cages outside the gas station. It can be kind of like that, where all they have to do is refill the cage near the bikes or replace them themselves. Or people can do it themselves if it's like a twist and plug or whatever. But yeah, I think there's potential here. But again, the storage is what I'm worried about. Is if they're storing it in these tanks and these tanks are left outside, is there potential there? Is there a potential for danger?
Yeah, it's definitely, we talk about the explosive capability of this, and this article talks about, we've come a long way since the days of the Hindenburg, but this is a water bottle sized thing of hydrogen. If it gets exposed to oxygen, it'll explode. So we definitely want to make sure that everything's safe, but it seems like we're talking about home hydrogen generators, and there's one here.
Yeah,
that you can pick some of these up on Amazon, and then you can use that to fill up the bottles. I guess they have a standard interface. Not sure, but this is great for those bike companies and scooter companies because instead of hauling around and having to recharge all those batteries all the time, they do quick fill-ups of these things rather than hours of charging, and it's much more lightweight to carry them around and just replace the bottles where they are instead of those batteries because they're really heavy.
And depending on the storage containers themselves, could last longer than batteries as far as the life cycle of them, right? So
yeah, and it uses standard e-bike motor, so this I could just see this starting to take off because we're talking about 500 millimeter of hydrogen, but it's easy to have 2 of those on a bike or do 1,000 milliliter or whatever. And now you're talking about doubling the range instantly just by increasing that capacity without, huge expense. Like the battery is 70% of the cost on e-bike. So you take that out, you're like, oh, okay, this actually might drive the price down and do a lot more from an environment point of view. We've been talking about hydrogen for a while, and I've always said we're going to have solar panels and hydrogen generators in the house so we can bottle this up and refuel our hydrogen fuel cells, and it's starting to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this is a great use for the technology. I didn't even think about this. All I've been thinking about is the larger transportation kind of trains and transport trucks. But I think this is great. I think this is a great use case for hydrogen.
Yeah, and there's less cyclists in Canada because of our winters. Like, I love my bike and I go everywhere on it. This would be an interesting, maybe the next one I get will be.
So that's like something I didn't look into is how does cold weather affect these hydrogen tanks or the storage? Is there less range because of it? That would be something to definitely look into. I don't think it does, because obviously the colder
hydrogen prefers cold.
What's that?
Hydrogen prefers cold.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So this might be great for Canada.
And it's just using the standard e-bike and motors that they have, so it's just a converting process. So this,
it's just they're instead of using batteries to power, they're using hydrogen to power the motor. So yeah, it works the exact same way, just the power the power source is different, right?
Any indication on when these bikes will be available to buy?
Yeah, so obviously they've got prototypes, limited demonstration deployments. Apparently the current cost might be around $5,000 US for initial models, which I don't think is that expensive compared to, like, you can get a mountain bike and you can easily spend $5,000 to $10,000 on a mountain bike, right? So if we're looking at, I would say in the next 3 to 5 years, small commercial launches. But hey, if Hydrobike wants to chime in here and give us, this is just my estimates, but if they want to chime in here and let us know what they think, that would be great. So if they get to commercial production, 3 to 5 years, maybe that reduces the price a little, and then 5 to 10 years will reduce the price even more, especially as hydrogen technology gets developed. I think definitely taking that into consideration and production costs going down as they scale up, we could look at maybe getting to $2,000 per US per bike. Who knows?
I can see them getting a lot less than that as you start to see e-bikes drop in price. There are a huge difference. You can get them for $300 or $400 at Walmart now, or you can get them for several $1,000s. So it depends on where you are and obviously quality differences and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see. As soon as these start coming out, we'll see more and more other competition and whatnot, and we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm really interested in that. So what do you got going on, John?
Yeah, so well, for those of you listening, next week is Collision. Still don't know if I'm going yet, but I think there's a couple things. So the big one that I'm excited about, that is huge event, super pumped, lots of people are going to go, is Startup Drinks TO on Thursday, on June 20th. That's going to be great. Go ahead and talk about it a little more, Craig.
Over 300 tickets are gone already. Collision, it's a Collision after party, and people don't necessarily know this, and maybe I should have did this in our news segment, but this not only is the last year for Collision in Toronto, it's the last year for Collision, period.
Yeah.
So they're rebranding to Web Summit, I guess, and it's going to be in Vancouver. So that's a whole, I'd like to do that. I think they used to run Web Summit and this one. So are they merging them together? I got to do a little work on that.
Web Summit's all over the world. So this, I guess.
And so they're just rebranding it to align that, Web Summit Barcelona and now Vancouver, or so they'll have multiple Web Summits every year, or we'll see. But the point being is, if you're in Toronto, get your ticket to Collision now. Here's the inside tip for people. I've told everyone who asked me this. If you're still looking for tickets and don't want to pay the price, search on LinkedIn, search on Twitter for Collision, Collision Conf, Collision HQ, whatever tag they're using now, and alpha or beta, and you'll get all these people saying, I was accepted in the alpha program, I was accepted in the beta program. And with those passes, they get 4 tickets.
Yeah.
And instead of paying $1,000 plus, you can probably reach out. A lot of those only have 1 or 2 people going, and they'll be happy to take $100 for one of those tickets. So reach out, get them if you can. It's the last time in Toronto, so their last chance to go. There's over 50,000 people coming to the city for this. If you can't make it or can't do that, join us at the Collision After Party. You can just buy a quick ticket. It's our largest event of the year. We'll have more investors, more founders, more people from out of town. So if you want to get in front of business owners, it's a great time to do it.
Great time. Yeah.
And you mentioned another event coming up, I think at the beginning. So we are ending Collision, but TechTO, I think, has a kickoff kind of party.
Well, they're doing their summer social. They do this, I think, maybe once a year, maybe twice a year. It's great. It's this year it's at the Slip on the Queen's Quay. It's on Monday from 6 to 9. It's going to be great. Lots of people attend this. There's networking and mingling and speakers, community open mic. It's a great event. It's a different venue than they normally have it. It's outside. It's going to be, depending on weather, it should be good. So.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. So if you're going, it's going to be crazy week. We've got the summer social, TechTO. We got Collision all week. We got events happening. We got the Collision After Party on June 20th. Go to startupdrinksto.com. And anything else you want to add before we sign off today, John?
No. Great talk today. That's for sure.
Yeah, and if you're going to be at Collision, if you see me there, I'll be wearing a red shirt. Come talk to me. I'll be interviewing startups, investors, and anybody who's doing anything cool in tech. I'll be in the media lounge and other areas, depending on, and walk in the startup areas. So depending if you're a speaker, I'll try and catch you in the media lounge. But if you're a regular startup, I'll catch you in the other places. So we'll see you then, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that